Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sakshi and in today's tutorial we will learn about the expression macros in data integration. So let's understand what is the expression macros. The expression macro in IICS allow user to create reusable expression that can be used across multiple transformations within a mapping. It defines the complex logic once and reuse it across mappings. So it changes to a macro automatically apply to all the mapping using it. So there are two fields, input field and output field. So in input fields represent source data for the macro and expression represent the calculation that you want to perform, and in the output field represent the result of that calculations. So you can create the expression macros in the expression and aggregator transformation, but you cannot combine an expression macro and in-out parameter in expression transformation. So guys, this will be the interview question. So just remember these things. Then at the runtime, the tags expand the expression to include all the input fields and constant and then write the result of the output field. So there are three different types of expression macros: vertical macros, horizontal macros and hybrid macros. So if we talk about the vertical macro, it is used to apply the row level transformation and operate the individual row of the data. In the horizontal macro, it is used for the column level operations and it is work across multiple columns within a same row. In the hybrid macro, it combines both the vertical and horizontal operations, and it performs complex logic involving the multiple rows and columns. So it is used for the scenario where both the operations are needed. So let's understand with the help of mapping which I have created. So before the explanation, let me show you my source. So you can see here my source. So we will take here two scenarios, guys. So let me show you the two real-time scenario we will discuss in this tutorial. So this is my source. So first scenario, we are doing the data cleansing in the real-time project, right? So in the real-time data cleansing, we are doing the, or we are checking, or we are removing the null values if there is any null values, if there are any space in your columns. So you can see in my table, this is the few columns only, but in real time there might be the 200 columns, 500 columns, and you want to do the DQ logic there, right? DQ rules. DQ is nothing but the data quality rules for all the columns. So you can see there is right space, left space in my source. In my email also there are some dots. So what we are doing here, we will perform some data cleansing operations, and in real time also if there are 500 columns, then you no need to write the logic to the 500 times. So instead of doing that, we are using the macros here, expression macro. So let me explain how we can use or achieve this scenario. So this is my source. I took employee table which I already shown you, and in the expression I simply create the input field. If you click here, you are able to see four fields: output field, variable field, input macro field and output macro field. So we already discussed about the output field and variable field. Now let's talk about the input and output. So I simply created one input field here, that is the infield port, you can see here. And when I created the output field, output macro field, then it automatically created the input field with the out suffix. You can see they are provided the by default underscore out suffix. And then I have selected the employee column and employee name column from my source because I want to apply the DQ logic on that columns. But if you want to select all the columns, then you can select from here. If you want all the incoming fields, name fields and field by text or pattern. So as per your requirement guys, you can select the fields from here. Then in field out, we have to provide the logic. So I simply write the logic for the ltrim and rtrim function. So I believe that you know what is the use of ltrim rtrim function. So it is used to remove the spaces. And then I have selected this port, input field port. And if you talk about the target, I have selected the Oracle table here, operation insert, truncate and target. And in the field mapping, there are many types like manual, automatic, completely parameterized and partially parameterized. So I have selected completely parameterized and I have created one parameter here, that is macro. So let me save this. And in mapping task, I simply selected my runtime environment and mapping here. And if we see the input parameter, so you can see in input parameter, there are the fields and these two columns are created, email out and email name out. This is our output field. So I simply unmapped my employee name and mapped with the out field this email column and employee name column. And let me run this. So you can see our mapping task is executed successfully. So you can see in this source there are 6 records, into my target also 6 records are loaded. But let me check it removes or not my space. So you can see guys, all spaces are removed from my source and data is loaded correctly. Now let's talk about the second scenario. If there are some null value in my columns, that what I want, before loading the data into the target, I want to filter out that records which having the null values. So how can I achieve this scenario? Let me explain you. So I used same mapping, only I changed the name of the mapping. So I have did the changes only in the expression. If you see in expression, I only took one output field column, that is flag null data. And I have given simple logic. If you click on built-in function and scroll down, you are able to see horizontal expansion. So just click here. So there are multiple functions like concat, delimiter, if and opr sum. So we are using this sum function and I simply call my input field and pass 1 and 0. 1 for null record, and if there is a not null value, then it will show the 0. Click on OK and let's run this mapping task. So let me show you in input parameter. You can see this field is created, flag null data. So let me run this. So you can see in my source there are total 6 records and null record is only 1. So 5 records should be loaded into my target. So let's see. So you can see guys, 5 records are loaded. In my source there are 6, but in my target it loaded only 5 records. So it filter my 1 record which is null. Let me check in target. See, there is no record, no null value. So guys, in this way you can achieve the scenario, you can implement a different logic and you can use the vertical and horizontal macros. Now let's talk about the interview questions on the expression macros. So you can see interviewer will be asked you why the expression macro is used in IICR. So we already have seen what is the expression macros, and now why are expression macro used. So they help reduce the redundancy by allowing the reuse of complex or repetitive expressions across the multiple mappings, making maintenance easier. That's why we are using the expression macros. Then second question will be like, can expression macro take parameters? So answer is yes, expression macro can accept the parameters, allowing dynamic logic based on the input values. So where can expression macro be used in the IICL? So we can use expression transformation within the mappings. So what happens if you update an expression macros? So any changes to the macro automatically apply to all the mappings that use it, ensuring the consistency. So guys, in this way you can use the expression macros. So this is all about today's tutorial. If you feel this video is really informative, please like, comment and share my video. Keep learning and growing. Thank you.